yeah. I was literally looking back. I was like, yo, can't believe it, man. Like, I haven't even known you for long either, man. So it's good that we can
Yeah,
do this.
it's the
It's good,
vibes,
man.
man. You gotta trust the vibes.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so when you so the first thing I was thinking, right, is
Hmm.
the word vulnerability. Um, and what does that mean? If I can kind of ask you first, what does vulnerability mean to you?
Vulnerability means, especially in relationships, um, transparency, being seen. There's so much that is necessary. Uh, since it's like since the relationship is like a bunch of moving
Mhm.
parts, you need to see them. So that's what transparency is.
Right, transparency.
Yeah, like you need to be vulnerable. If you're not vulnerable, then you're making it very hard to see all the moving parts, especially when things need maintenance.
Hmm.
Things need to be
Hmm.
worked on. If you can't see the communication or the issues or whatever, you're not really giving each other a fair shot.
I hear that. It's kind of like helping when you're vulnerable, you're helping the other person kind of see clearly as well what you're going through, and that gives
Yes.
them a deeper insight of the situation, and then from there you can kind of tackle it and kind of improve on what that person has brought to light through their transparency. So that's good that
Well
you
said. Well said.
yeah,
Well said.
yeah, it's good that you brought
Ooh,
that up. Uh,
we're not even in yet. We're not even in. It's not even 10 minutes in. Calm down. You're killing them. You're killing them.
yeah, you know what? It's it's key though, right? I mean, what you said is so important. Um, and this is why, and I'm gonna pull it in what you said, right? And
Okay.
well, you told me to put this in, but yeah, and men are not plentiful, right? And that's why it's
Mm,
good to treat each other in a way, to a point where you can allow uh your your boyfriend, your husband, to be open and transparent and receive it well. Now,
yeah. Wow.
yeah, when I was looking at the word, I know, it's getting deep.
You
When
did
you,
that. You
when
did
I,
that. You did that. Oh my God, you did that. I'm sorry. Good job, dog.
appreciate
Whoa,
it.
good job.
Uh, when 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 you look at the word, for me, vulnerability is definitely on what you were saying. For me, it's the quality or a state of being exposed.
Mm,
Um,
love
when
that. That's
anything,
good.
yeah, when anything is exposed, it shows a different side to a different person. Um,
Right.
if there was a naked man walking down the street, everyone would say, "Oh my gosh, he's naked," or "She's naked,"
Yeah,
exposed.
that's true.
Yeah,
Exposed.
um,
Okay.
they're exposed, and it brings a different attraction to that person, or sort of light to that person because they are exposed. And in this certain situation, when a man is vulnerable or exposed, or they're showing a part of them that almost seems like they're in their nakedness, sometimes it can
Hmm.
be surprising, and people don't know how to respond when you do respond in a way of vulnerability or nakedness or transparency, like you said.
Mm.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like when you say things like exposed, it's important to note that's the harder part of being seen when there's a part not working and it's
Mhm.
exposed. That's the maintenance, and a lot of men have a hard time saying this isn't working, and it doesn't mean break up. It means stay. This isn't working. You can help me. You can fix that with me. If I just tell you how I do a process, you can tell me what's wrong with it. It's trusting that this person that's going to provide maintenance for you, they're going to take their time, tinker with you, and make sure that it gets the satisfactory results for your relationship. Being exposed allows that process to be smoother.
Right. I hear you. And the something that you said, and you said it twice or three times, is maintenance. And I'm like, why does he keep saying maintenance? But it's resonating to me. And while you're talking, maintenance is so important. So I looked up the word maintenance. It's the process of
Mhm.
preserving a condition or situation or the state
And
of
what is a
being.
relationship? That is that. It is that what you're
That is that.
describing. You can't even get
That is that.
exactly. You can't even get further into the definition because as soon as you say that, maintaining something, what is a relationship that is going to be long term? It's it requires all that maintenance,
Maintenance.
all
Yeah,
that preservation, because it has
and
value.
it has value, and it still needs to be
Yeah.
maintained, even when somebody uh wants to be vulnerable, open with you. You still have to keep that
Yes.
maintenance mindset. Okay,
Yes.
um, put myself in. Okay, so for example, if she was being vulnerable or showing how, just showing that she needs support with X, Y, and Z, whatever that could be. I need to have a
Hmm.
maintenance mindset, open mindset to say, okay, whatever she's going to say at this point, I need to have a mindset of building. And I said this on
That's
on
correct.
social media at some point. You can't build with someone if they're always leaving the job site. You can't.
There it is.
You
Whew,
can't
that's
do that.
powerful. Whoa.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
dog.
you can't do that. It's going to be very hard to build with the
Hmm.
person that you're meant to build with who's always leaving. They don't have the
That's
same
facts.
vision, or you know um and sometimes what could be the case as well, people that don't see your vision or are not able to build. I just
Hmm.
said it, they're not able to see your vision properly sometimes, or they don't understand what you're trying to do.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah. And I tagged you in that tweet the other day on the 12th of December. Now the tweet was word
Let me
from
see.
word.
Okay.
Men be like, I'm literally crying right now. Okay,
Yeah.
and what's
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you remember that
It's
one?
that. It's that. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's we're partly to blame for that because remember we haven't taken the time to properly express ourselves emotionally.
Mm,
Now, we're not given a lot of avenues, but that doesn't mean that we haven't conquered other things in history. Like we did all the conquering except for self when it came down to man. We never
mm,
did the inner type of things and put it on display. We've conquered worlds, we've stopped wars, but we haven't stopped that internal war within ourselves. And that's a problem when leading a woman into your life. If you cannot communicate those emotions, conquer self, then you'll just be leading her into a disaster every time. It can't always be a war zone when going into man's emotions.
mm,
Like a lot of men will break down and cry, but there's no translation. A lot of men will they'll spaz out, they'll have fits, all of that, but
mm,
there's no reconciliation. And women are just supposed to we're expecting them to interpret it with no context clues and no words. That's not fair
mm,
for the ones that are eligible, the ones that are interested in maintaining a relationship. This isn't for the uneligible woman. For anybody that's saying okay and to a man during a distressful time in an emotional state, they're uneligible for the long term
mm.
relationship.
Yeah, because they
And
don't have
vice
that.
versa. Vice versa.
Yeah, yeah, vice versa, because the understanding isn't there.
Hmm.
Um, and and it's strange. I wasn't the only time that I can recall um my mum telling me it was okay to cry was when
Hmm.
my grandma passed away, and I was very quiet. I was in my room
You
for
see?
hours,
Exactly.
and yeah, and my mum. I think I ended up going downstairs or something, but she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm fine." Um,
Hmm.
she just gave me a hug, and she said, "It's okay to cry, you know." And literally, as soon as she said that, I just started crying.
Exactly.
Um,
The release,
but
man.
yeah, and the weird thing is, I kind of didn't even realize it was there because it was so numb. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like,
I get that.
uh,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, it was so weird. And even my dad in the past, he said to me as well, like, it's okay to cry, but I haven't. I know it sounds strange, but no one taught me how to get that out. If I'm angry, I know to be
And
angry, but
so
if
that's
I'm,
that's key right there. What you just said. Nobody taught you how to do that because, and that's where women come in because they're emotional creatures. So when you show them you, they can give you the natural process on how to get
mm,
through an emotion, and then you take it and translate it masculine. So
right,
somebody like who's an eligible person, your mom, it's okay to cry. That's a very simple command to an emotion. And because of the safety that your mother provides, the space wherever she told you that allows you to release. That's what a woman is. When she
mm,
provides the command, gives the space, the necessary safety, and you can filter out your emotion because she's ready to receive it. That's all your mom did. It, she
mm.
opened her arms, gave you the command. You were able to instantly release the emotion. A very simple formula for emotions to process.
Yeah, I think as well is that the key thing about mums, women, especially in general, they are meant to be nurturers. And I think it was that part as well that she was able to nurture very well that enabled me to release myself. Does that make sense? And
Yes.
what's your advice, bro? Because these days it's very hard to find a woman that even encourages you to be open. It's very rare. How would you tell a guy, a man that you know what, crying is not a weak thing?
It's, mm, I would tell them that
Thinking about that.
I think, I think it
Because I've
starts
seen.
off with, it starts off with one, what do you desire in life? It's like if you're trying to be an optimum man, like the best version of yourself, knowing self, you're gonna have to do the work at some point. There's no amount of weights that you can lift. There's no amount of sex that you can have. There's no amount of drugs you can do, alcohol you can drink that will
Mm,
help you escape from your emotions.
emotions, yeah,
The more you want to be better, the more you're gonna have to get inside of your own self.
yeah, do the work.
Because it's not one of those things that you can allow to run crazy. You won't make it. You won't become the best version of yourself. The best version of Aaron does not exist without getting through my emotions. Especially me being a Cancer,
Mm,
very emotional sign, water sign, and all those things. I have to get in there. But any zodiac sign, any man, you will have
mm,
to start there. Like, because then when you start disciplining your emotions, what do you think? What do you think athletes require? They require the discipline in order to get their emotions in check as they're, you know,
mm,
experiencing them in a heightened state. You're on the field, whatever sport, football, American football, it requires that level of discipline. You can't let your emotions run rampant while you're trying to focus on getting that winning touchdown or that winning goal. You got to remember to play, scope out the area, remain calm. When you're trying to protect somebody's life, like your mates,
mm,
it requires a cool head. You can't be
mm,
all crazy. That's not what a protector is. They're vigilant. That requires the assessment of the environment. And you cannot be emotional. You have to be logical. So if you are a man, you are in tune with your emotions. And then when you're leading that woman with you, because you can translate your emotions, you can provide her with a way to give you on the go maintenance. because now you're in the hunt together. Now you're in the jungle together. She
mm,
needs to know how to. She needs to know how to equip. You need to equip your mate with the necessary tools to keep you
yeah.
going in the race, in the hunt. You have to, like, it's like when you're working on that car. When you say wrench, she needs to know what that is for you. So like, it's
Yeah.
seriously, because you're doing your thing, and you know, it's it's like, hold on,
Mm,
I'll think of it. Yeah, man. Like, sorry about that.
okay.
It becomes a necessity. It becomes a necessity, man. Like, if you're gonna sit here and tell me that you're this macho man and you can't even tell me when's the last time you cried or whatever, we already have an issue. You're already
Mm,
functioning in toxicity. You're backed up. You know what I'm saying? There's a channel of emotions that you have not touched, and it's backing you up. It's ruining the quality of man that you are, because you have yet to get that out. That that
mm,
doesn't that doesn't fly. It doesn't work. It doesn't sustain itself. You'll just be ruining the long term. You're gonna run into something. You're gonna run into an issue, and you're not gonna be able to tell anybody what's going on. And then your support system is useless. Your the people
mm,
that love you are useless. You're out here trying to reach things that you can't touch, like, because you can't see it. The blind spots. That's what the support system is
mm,
for. That's what the love, that's why you invest your resources and time into your loved ones, because when it's time to fix those blind spots, when the wrench, you can't do it by yourself, or you can't get that itch, whatever analogy you
mm,
want to utilize to say that you can't get there. That means, like, when the doctor's asking you, like, what's wrong, you can't see your insides, but if you start describing it, they can start forming
mm.
up hypotheses.
Diagnosis. Yeah. Yeah.
They're the experts on the insides. And going
Mm,
back to women or the support system, they're the experts on the emotions. If you
right.
tell them,
Right.
if you describe what's going on inside of you, if they care about you, they'll walk you through the process. Oh, that sounds
Mm,
like this, and there's a formula for it. There's a
mm.
dosage for that,
It's
and
key.
that's what you're teaching the people. That's exactly what you're teaching the people that you love, especially as a man. Hey, this hurts right here. Oh, that sounds like this. I have a remedy for that.
Mm,
Or take a Tylenol right here, and then you'll need a Percocet to mitigate the pain, and you have to rest. Your feet needs to be up. However that translates in the emotional side. Oh, you need to be held. You need to cuddle. Come over here. Breathe slowly. Let's look at each other. Let's reaffirm how much we love each other, and let it, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people that that
yeah.
you that you love, they'll be able to tap in with you and figure it out and give you those remedies. But that's only through communication. Nobody's trying to help you if you're screaming and hollering. Nobody's trying to help you if you're losing your mind. Nobody's trying to
Right.
do none of that.
And
Nobody wants to do any of that.
yeah, and that's key because there is a formula to everything. But that only comes by communicating, and letting that be known. You see, it when from what I've seen, when men don't communicate, it's like it's like having the tap water wrong. The water's going into the cup. If you
Mm,
don't stop that tap, what's going to keep happening is the water's just going to keep overflowing and overflowing and overflowing and overflowing.
precisely, precisely.
And until that, when it starts to overflow, you're going to get a whole lot of mess. Now,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I was looking at some history and some stuff.
Mm,
Now, it says, and I'm going to read something. So, with Black Americans between the 1980s and 1995, the suicide rate of Black males doubled to about 8 deaths per 100,000 people. And I was
Mm,
thinking, wow, that's crazy because I do believe if they had that support network to know how to open up and to get the right help from the right people that can give them the right diagnosis, the right formula, they would
mm,
be able to get that help. And we don't often talk about getting counseling sometimes. And I think that is also good as well.
mm-hmm.
Because worst
Absolutely.
case scenario, let's say your wife is a great support, but she just doesn't know how to look
Yeah,
after you in a
I
certain
agree.
situation. You
I
know what I mean?
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I feel like it's always good to seek outside help if it needs to be done. Um,
that's true. That's so true,
yeah,
man. That's so true. Wow.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, no, no. Continue, continue, please, please, please.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of made me think about that, because sometimes women just not on purpose. Sometimes women don't understand everything. I remember getting a really bad stomach ache. My wife
Mm.
said, "Boy, when you're really in pain, you're worse than a woman."
On God,
You know,
on God,
and
on God. That's so true. I've curled up before
you
and just
know,
been like,
and
all the sounds and cooing I
yeah,
make, it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of women say men can be really bad when we're in pain. Like we're
Hmm.
not babies, man. And there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that because sometimes most of the time it is the case. But sometimes it puts them in a position like, okay, what do you want me to do? How can I help you? You know what I mean? Because it's not
mm,
all the time they see a man in that situation.
that's true. That's true. And so getting a proper expert diagnostic will allow, when you bring that report back home, she'll be able to better assist. Because there'll
Right.
be simple things that are translated. Okay, so he goes through this, so he needs this. Clinical depression is a thing in men. You know, the suicide rate is high, internalizing things is high. So
Mm,
being able to say that, this isn't working and this is the reason why and blah blah blah, it's paramount. So I think counseling is so 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 important. And
it
a lot of the black men would do well to have that in their lives at this point.
mm,
It'd be really smart to take up therapy because we got real life issues and they're ones that are complex, they're rooted, they're layered. And you don't want to pressure nobody with
yeah.
that kind of that kind of work. Like that's not what people are signing up for. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You need professional help, and now all of a sudden she got to go get a degree in psychoanalysis, like some type of
Mm,
SVU unit or something. Like that's not fair.
no, of
You
course,
gotta
yeah.
you gotta you gotta give her that would scare anybody away. If I'm being honest, like
Yeah, it would,
if
yeah.
you're trying to be a decent bachelor, that's not yeah, no, that's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, and again, if anyone's listening, ladies or men, especially ladies, and you see your man going through something that almost seems on the borderline of a little bit of slight depression, or he needs to speak to someone, just say it in the nicest possible way. Because sometimes as men as well, we don't, because we're again, because we're so used to internaling things until it builds up, then we're like, oh snap, I can't believe it. Like, what's going
Precisely.
on? I don't know how to handle it. How do I juggle everything? How do I do it?
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
going to read something because I found an article last week, and I'm reading this guy's article word for word, right? So
Yeah.
it says, kn- uh, a man I knew rarely, if ever, shared his emotions with his wife. He would often feel unsure and insecure about their relationship. His
Mm.
coping mechanism would be to go into hyper pleasing mode to try and make her happy. His nice guy pleasing mode was a nasty habit of neediness that he fell into often, and he didn't like it. He never
Mm.
felt brave enough to share this issue with her.
Mm.
So there I see that there is something deep in there one, he said he felt insecure and he went into hyper pleasing mode.
mm,
Now it seems like he may have been secure about something within the relationship, and he thought, in order for me to be back on track, or what he probably assumed he wasn't on track, or with his wife, or or on good terms, I should say, he had to go in pleasing mode, and even that sometimes can be damaging,
mm-hmm.
and
Because it's not
and
coming
can
from a
be
genuine place.
yeah, it's not yeah, and it can be overbearing to
If
the woman. So
mm-hmm,
you need to channel that in the right way. And again, counseling in that point, at this point, it would be handy or to speak to somebody else about why you're feeling a certain way, because something has to happen to get to that point. You agree?
mm, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Ooh, wow, that was well said.
Yeah. And there was another part on the art on this article, another example. So it says another guy I knew went through a long period of money challenges and felt he wasn't living up to his big ideal of what a good and powerful man should look like. The way he dealt with this was by being overly defensive to any criticism or feedback from his wife. He would get easily offended because he was judging himself as not being enough, not being successful.
Mm,
And again, going back to the when you leave the tap on in the cup, eventually, if you don't stop that, it can get to a place where it can overfill. And when the water does come out, it can rush into something else and cause damage. Those two examples from this article, um, who ends up being damaged at the end of the day? Himself and the person that he loves the most, that is the closest to him.
mm,
Um, Now, what I'm trying to get out of this is that men need to be vulnerable because it can cause issues to yourself long term
mm.
and to the person that you're dealing with. But at the same time, if there is women out there who are listening to this, kind of identify the signs and don't think that, oh my gosh, this guy is a typical black man who's acting like this. No, it just means that he's just most likely, definitely not opening up about a issue that he's having.
There you go. There you go. And
Yeah,
now, do you
you
how long you got to? She would have to evaluate if that's the value she wants.
die
Like,
wait
there's nothing
right.
wrong with, yeah, like if that's what you can handle, if that's what you want to take on, because everybody's got their
Yeah,
damage. You know what I'm saying? Like the
yeah,
moment we start
and
taking off the layers of the said madam or the said lady, it becomes just like that. Like, you start figuring out, oh, she's got her own set of issues, and that same man now has to evaluate, is that something you want to take on? Everybody's got the baggage. And I feel like a lot of people, they run into people's traumas, male or female, and it's just, they don't do that. They don't do that realistic evaluation. They're not
yeah,
asking. They, on the first date, they're not paying attention. They're just, oh, this is blah blah blah, and this is very funny, and this is cute, and all this other stuff. Not realizing like, hey, this person might have real life issues. And
yeah, yeah,
if you think it's a game, or if you think like it's not something you have to invest into or whatever, that's not the person for you. And it's fair for you to walk away, male or female. But don't be 4 years into the thing and never took the time to look at that woman or look at
right.
that man, and now they're looking to you because they've been telling you everything that they know how to tell you to the best of their ability,
Mm,
and you just been ignoring stuff or haven't been investing the proper attention into the
right.
details, and then now you're stuck with a situation. That's not fair.
Yeah,
That's not fair.
and
Like, do not take
and
on what you cannot handle.
yeah, you're right. And like you said, we all come at some point. We all come with a type of baggage. Not
Yeah.
not Um, and when I mean baggage, I know people feel like, oh, it's baggage in the terms of, oh, I can't manage it. Maybe I can change that. We all come with some sort of uh issues, some type of stronghold on our lives. And the way I say stronghold is because it can be a type of a strong hold or strong issue on our lives that we may be
Mm,
facing. Um, but like you said, if you're 4 years in it, don't give up on him. try and sort it out. You mentioned a key word before, which was maintenance, and maintenance still needs to be carried out even years later. It, you
Yeah,
know, and men and women in relationships and just people in general, we change and we evolve in the simple ways in terms of the way that we think,
that's
right?
true.
And
That's true.
um, I'm gonna go deep in this. Even did you know even a counselor has to have their own counselor? It's advisable that
Mm,
if you're gonna
come
counsel
on.
somebody,
Yeah,
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 if you're counseling somebody, you're gonna have to have your own counselor. Why? Because the person who is trained to be a counselor is not just having one person a day; they're probably having six. And
yeah.
while they're
That's a lot of
having six,
personalities.
yeah. And guess what? They're not just listening, they have to write down everything that every individual is going through. And at the end of the day,
Right,
they have to
right,
go back now, probably to another man, go back to the other man, which is their husband, and
right.
take whatever issue there may be at home, big or small. And even the big or small can cause an impact because of of the issues that they're absorbing, you know
Mm,
and it's advisable that they have their own counselor because they also need a place where they can detox and release and just
that's
clear
so
their
real.
mind, and we all need to at times rest and clear our minds. And I think
Yes.
it's important for us to, when you're in a relationship, to know each other in that sense, because we all have our ups and downs, but don't leave when things are getting sticky. Like you said, there's always a formula to every situation. You just
Yeah,
need to have the
man.
patience and patience and the commitment, the maintenance. Both of you have a good transparency. When I mean transparency, effective communication. People can communicate, but we're talking about effective communication. I can shout at you
Mm,
all day. We can both shout, but
yeah.
the when it comes to effective communication, it should be a point where she's like, okay, I hear what you're saying. And he's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
Let's meet in the
Uh-huh.
middle if we can. You see? And relationships, I hear a lot of people saying relationships are 50-50. They're really not, because relationships are about commitment and sacrifice. Sacrifice is the word I want to use, really.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah. That's the
you
fruit of
do
the
have
spirit
to
that
sacrifice.
a lot of Christians struggle with, that fruit of the spirit. Long suffering. It's always that
Yeah,
one. They don't
yeah,
understand that it's really a marathon. It's really a journey in anything that you're taking up, and that was the whole point of Jesus Christ. Like, it's to show you, like, it's not ideal. You're making it ideal.
yeah.
You're making it become ideal. It's y'all are people are too far down the road, not understanding what the moment looks like. You're in it right
Mm,
now. You're figuring it out right now. So then,
yeah,
because the Bible talks about not giving a thought for tomorrow, anyways. There's a
yeah. Don't worry
reason for
about
that.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like you're not, if you're so far in that, you're missing precious moments where you're supposed to be working on self or coming to realizations. That's not. It's so it just takes away from the sweetness of the journey. Like you're missing so many things, man. Can't see the forest for the trees type situation.
Mm, this is deep. Yeah. Um.
It is deep.
What? Mm. Because I was expecting I was gonna go down a different route today. um, I
That's
really
funny.
was. I really was. Oh man,
That is so
I was
funny.
thinking, okay, today I might come down like a hammer, but no, it's just really important. Like even talking to you about this,
Yeah.
um, it's more stuff that are flooding in. Um, and can men be vulnerable? Yes, and we should. We just need as males, males and females work together. You
Yeah.
know, um, females are quite different because females, they can be vulnerable. It just comes out in a different way. Sometimes it can
Mhm.
just come out in nagging instead of
Mhm.
just talk to me a little bit more gently, or
Mhm.
don't let, you know what I mean? Because as men, we don't like to be shouted at. We don't like to, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, just talk to me normally without raising your voice, you know? And
Yeah.
yeah, with men. we internal it sometimes because we don't know what the other person is going to reciprocate our transparency as. Um, but yeah, as men, we really do need to talk more. Um, and this is also deep too, right? And this is a part of why black men commit suicide as well. Is that men don't talk to men, really? Like men don't talk to men. Honestly,
Right,
um,
right, right.
even myself, I've been lacking that. And even though it's bad, but I was surprised that I was talking to you so fine and fluently because it's not every day that um I can feel free to talk to another brother like yourself about something in common like this. You know what I mean? Like it just seems sometimes with men there's a bit of a wall as well. So when a man can't talk to another man about stuff about life, and sometimes he doesn't feel open enough to talk to another female, that puts us in a stagnant position where we just can't move anywhere in our own minds, if that makes sense. And all we do
I
is
agree
just
with that.
blow up.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like I feel as though there's just there's a lot of requirements.
Mm,
There's a lot of requirements with deciding what's the right avenue when processing the emotions, right?
mm,
We mentioned professional help if necessary to mitigate. You know what I'm saying? Like you would need a doctor per se to give you a professional diagnostic, etc. But then you think about what you just said right here, and then you add an element to it. It's like when you're a leader, in some taking somebody's soul per se, and leading them and guiding them.
mm.
There is, I feel like a lot of men don't understand that that requires a lot of foresight and responsibility, accountability.
Yeah.
You're not allowed a lot of error in that department. It's just not. You're dealing a lot of things, like a lot of things
Mm.
at once, and will struggle trying to trying to do all of that in one setting, one go.
You still there, bro?
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a matter of course. Wait, can you hear me?
A little bit. A little bit.
Hold up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, that's clear.
Technology, man. All right, there we go. There we
I
go.
can hear you.
There we go. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But I feel like you understood what I was saying. Go ahead and pick up from there. I'm so sorry.
No, yeah, you're good. Yeah, it's I just feel like my wife says it all the time. Like, you need to hang up with some guy mates. I'm like, I don't have any, and the ones that I used to have, um they're not responsible, and I can't hang around with people like that. So it's very hard as men, one, to open up to other men or just have you know male friends in general. Sometimes I think you know what I mean, right? It's a guy thing. Um,
Mm,
and then it's just me. It was just you, or it's just me and my wife. So it's just like, okay. And then when things do happen, and let's say, for example, I feel like I can't open to up anybody. The next person I may call is, I don't know, maybe a counselor. But um, I feel like a lot of men go through this. A lot of men that I've spoken to definitely go through this. Um, But that can be that could be another conversation. But it's definitely important for us to be vulnerable, um, in the sense of being transparent. Um, and but again, I give the example of the tap. Um, you have to manage your emotions in a controllable way, also. In a respectful way. I've seen men um blow up in terms of
Yeah,
their, how they feel about something, and they can come out very disrespectful. It's about managing that, though. Making sure that you filter through properly what you're trying to say, and deliver properly what you're trying to do. Um, okay, he's reconnecting. So we've got a problem there a little bit.
with our issues, we have the same interests, and even when we don't, it's not hard to be like, oh, just listen. I think a lot of
Yeah,
men, they see that women aren't into what they're into, and it makes it more difficult for them to integrate themselves. They don't have no commonality, but
mm,
that's the part of the hunt. You gotta put that work in to figure out what y'all are, or
right.
where y'all can find the common denominator. But with with us with us speaking, and then and being decent to each other. That rage that you mentioned, getting loud, being disrespectful. The reason why we're
Mm,
vulnerable is because we don't. That's it's to avoid that,
right. Yeah, that's
and
yeah,
that
true. Yeah, yeah.
that translates to romantic relationships when you are interacting with your woman. It's you're
Mm,
trying to be seen because if they know you, it's just like, uh, it's like when you go to school and they have those special needs classes for autistic people or whatever. They're trained
yeah.
to learn certain sequences in the brain for them. Why? Because they know how to calm the the situation down completely.
Yeah.
They know how to to bring it all the way down. And I think that that requires that same attention in a romantic relationship, any relationship for that matter. Like
Yeah.
you should want to learn somebody's sequences so you can better
Mm,
interact with them on the communicative level, emotionally or spiritually, whatever. Like if
hmm
you can't remember their sequences, you're already at a disadvantage because you're not
mm,
paying attention. They're right there in front of you. This person gets upset when this happens. Remember that. Make sure you put value and attention to understanding how they get upset, and then see if it's too much, like, hey, you're being a little bit too much of this, or if or if you yourself are responding well to that person doing whatever you're
mm,
doing. You know, there's going to be that accountability, and
right.
that's the deeper state of trust when you can allow somebody to call you out when you're making the wrong moves, and then you yourself when you know the sequence and you didn't do the right thing. And so that's why the
Mm,
person is upset. Now you're respecting how you made them, you pissed them off, or you told them, whatever. Like and I guess the best example is
yeah.
if you know that somebody doesn't like loud music, and your significant other does not like loud music at all. And you're approaching them and saying, "Hey, I want to take you somewhere," but during where it's at, it's a whole bunch of loud music. Well, you're not really being considerate,
Yeah, consider it.
and
Yeah.
so now they're upset throughout the night, and you're wondering why. And your wondering is already disrespectful because you're supposed to know they don't like this,
Mm, they've
but
communicated
they're
it
here.
before.
Right, right, but they're here because they're giving you an opportunity to exhibit love for them in the smallest area,
Mm,
and which now is the biggest area because the biggest issue is that the loud music is there. That's a lot of men are thoughtless right there. It's
Mm,
very it's very easy to tell that a lot of men don't pay attention to, because that's what women are saying. I'm not, it's the small things that matter. And the Bible talks about this small foxes that destroy the vine and things like that. It translates. It's real. It's a real
mm,
concept because it be messing up relationships. How is it 20
mm.
years in and she's still complaining that you don't put the toilet seat down? That's inconsiderate. You see what I'm saying? Like, it matters to her. Right,
Uh,
right. You like,
yeah,
we're now it's like how deep you want to go. Like
yeah,
how scandalous, you know what I'm saying? Like how trifling are men in that, or in that aspect. Or if you want to look at a man, it's
yeah.
been 15 years and you know on Saturday like he likes his bathwater rant. It's, we're 15 years in. Like, why don't you, not even one Saturday out of the month? Not one? You see what I'm saying? Like, pick one. It just becomes, it just, I'm just not doing that. Well, all right, but dang, that's tough. Can't put the toilet seat down. Can't run the bathwater. Now we got arguments. Well, you don't even put the toilet seat on. But you don't run my bathwater on the Saturdays that I like. Boom, where we're at. I don't
Mm.
care about your bathwater. I don't care about your toilet seat. Well, I don't care about you. Oh, whoa, 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 deep.
See,
But that's,
and even that comment that you said, right, that little dialogue you kind of made up, can be the reality of it. I literally may not care
yes,
about the toilet seat down, but you know what? And even that scenario, how can we make that scenario better, right? It could be, look, it could be to my wife, babe. I'm not gonna lie, I don't care about the toilet seat, but I'll try. It's gonna be hard for me, but I'll try
exactly,
and make sure.
exactly.
I'll try and make sure I always do it. I'm gonna be honest. It might not. It definitely won't be an overnight thing, but I'll keep trying. I'll make sure I do it.
That's the point. Because now she wants the
Yeah.
effort. Because it's gonna be when she's pregnant and with your kid, and she falls into the toilet seat that you're gonna regret. You see what I'm saying? Like, now,
Yeah, yeah,
now that it's the point of that effort right there. Like, now you wanna care, you wanna nail it every now and then,
yeah.
at least. If there's 7 days out the week, you wanna nail that at least twice a day, because y'all are using the bathroom. It's you gotta nail it. Now look, you can fumble it when you sleep, because that's always a solid excuse. Like, she can never be mad at you for being human, unless she's just a weirdo, because she's even forgetting at that point. You know what I'm saying? And then you can
Mm,
level with her now. Now you get your bathwater on the Saturday, and you have a right to demand it, because you are what you are demanding. And that's the leader as men, that we don't like stepping up right there. We don't like leading women into change, because us ourselves don't want to change, but we want to dictate
mm,
how they will change. That's not leadership. That's laziness. You don't get to do that. You become the best version of yourself so you can attract what you are or create what you are. Because if you're building the best version of yourself, it's not an overnight thing. Like you said, that toilet seat thing, man, that's gonna take some time. I don't care about that. But that's the point though. Because you don't want to be 20 years in the argument, and y'all don't care about each other. And y'all, the examples y'all have is the loud music or the toilet seat or the bath water.
mm.
And now y'all in couples therapy for that. Like, no, no, not that. Come on, man. Anything but that. That's embarrassing. Those are the things that you don't need professional help with. Those are the things that's pride in the way.
Yeah,
That's
and you know
that's
what? Over time it can get especially when you see your wife or the wife sees the husband trying.
mm,
It can be um they can cope with it because they can see the
yes.
effort put in.
There
Yeah,
you go.
and
Like, they don't have to.
and
Yes, perfect.
yeah, people couples pass away together without being perfect. You know. You
Yes.
still there, bro? Oh, you still there? Cool.
I'm here, bro.
Um,
I'm here. I'm here.
yeah, there's when I first got married, it wound me up so much that, bro, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it when my wife touches my ass, bro. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't
I like it when my girl touches my ass. I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
I don't like it,
Yeah.
bro. I still
Yeah.
don't like it. But now I kind of take it in a joke way because she can't help it. It's just her, right? And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
like you should
you
like
know.
you like the fact that she's obsessed with you, all of you.
I, I,
Like,
I I like that, but I just don't like it touched. That's the only thing. But now I do it in a jokey way, then a more I do it in a jokey way than more of a serious thing. And it doesn't wind me up at 10 out of 10 now than it used to. It's kind of like a 5 out of 10.
mm,
So I'm getting better. But it's those things. Even though it's so small, you have to communicate with it. You know,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to
That's
communicate.
correct. That's
You know,
correct. Because you're
and
building
as
it
we're
up.
talking.
You're building it up.
Yeah, as we're talking about this, we're also talking. It also falls into the line of vulnerability. We got a voice note. Let me just play that quickly. It's from
Okay.
Marissa/Mimi. One
I
second.
say it all the time. If she was to stop doing that or even touching you or anything to irritate you, you'll be concerned and it will bother you. Just deal with it, man. It's not that deep. You're not cellmates.
All right,
Okay.
Mimi. I'll speak to you later. You
To a
know what
point.
it is,
To a
though.
point. And hey, 10
Yeah,
minutes and I gotta go. We'll wrap this up. Because I know
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna
yeah.
have to go.
I was literally about to say anyway. We'll wrap this up now because it's almost been literally an hour since
Yeah,
we've been talking
yeah,
about
but
this.
yo, but
But
it flew by. Oh my God, it flew by. It flew by. Flew
yeah,
by.
yeah,
This is necessary. This is good though. This is good.
yeah. No, honestly, thank you though, man, because it's important to get this message out. For those who kind of missed it, kind of just came in, you can listen to the recording. I'm gonna pull it on YouTube as well at some point. But no, bro, Aaron, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
No, this has been my pleasure, man. Like, definitely, we definitely chop it up after this because this is just for the the stereo. Like we're friends, so we'll talk more.
Yeah, I know,
Definitely.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
so cool.
No, so yeah, likewise, bro. Likewise, bro. But all right, man, I'll let you go, and I'll speak to you at some point tomorrow or later tonight.
For sure, for sure. Stay safe, stay safe.
Yeah, you too, bro. Take care.